Back here on Busted Open, Dave LaGreca, Bully Ray. And Bully, as you know, my wife...
You suck.
No.
You suck.
That's not true. That's completely
You
not...
suck.
Stop it, Bully.
Okay.
You suck, you suck, you suck, you suck.
My wife, as you know, my wife Violetta, trying to get into pro wrestling because of what I do for a living, and she never watched wrestling until she met me. She completely could not understand why when Kurt Angle would come down the entrance ramp and everybody loves Kurt Angle, that they're chanting, "You suck." And he's smart. Complete disconnect with my wife.
Term of endearment.
There you go. It's definitely a term of endearment. And it's not even just what he is doing in the world of pro wrestling, but now the movie Chasing Molly, out now, available on DVD, Blu-ray, and iTunes. And again, the man who's in that, and of course, a WWE Hall of Famer, is the great Kurt Angle. Kurt, how are you today?
I'm doing well, thank you. Bully, what's up, my man?
Kurt, how are you, brother?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good, good.
Are you excited about Chasing Molly?
Yeah, it was a fun movie that we did. We filmed that, I think, 3 years ago. And I thought Shelley Pack did a great job with the movie, and it was a lot of fun. There were a few names in it. Felicia Day was in it. Shelley Pack is a great actress. So it was a lot of fun. We even had I marked out, like, they had the progressive guy. And I'm marking out, saying, you're the car insurance guy. So he's in the movie, too. I don't even know his name. God bless him. But
Tremendous. You marked out for a guy you don't even know his name.
yeah. It was, Flo for Progressive.
Yep.
He's the guy, the nerdy guy. So,
Kurt, was this the first movie you've ever done?
no. Boy. No, but I was just, it just blew my mind that, well, this is a smaller independent, and, I wasn't expecting the Progressive Insurance guy to be there.
No, and you know what? Really quick, Bully. And
I feel like a jerk now because I forgot about that movie that
Warrior.
Kurt was in, like Warrior. Yeah, no, that just slipped my mind.
No, but the funniest scene in Chasing Molly.
Yeah.
But the funniest scene in the movie is when he's talking about, like, his brother stealing his train set when he was a kid, and he's describing how he shoved the caboose down his brother's throat until he choked to death. I know it doesn't sound funny as I'm saying it, but if you see it in the movie, it's actually hilarious.
It is. They have some really good lines in the movie. They got a lot of, gotcha lines that are hilarious. So they did a really good job. I'm really proud of Shelley Pack, the way she was able to bring the movie together and make it really work. It was a really fun movie to play, but it was even funner to watch.
Kurt, was this a movie that you had done on your own on the side, or was this through WWE?
This was before WWE, and I got set up through my agency, APA. But it was literally, I was in one day and out. I think I was in 4 or 5 scenes, and it was, they were cool because they, I didn't stay there for a whole month just to do that. It was like, let's knock these out, let's do it. And so I flew to LA, and they got it done in one day. It was actually the best of both worlds. You got to be in a really cool movie, and you'd have to spend a lot of time there,
When you look at Chasing Molly and just what you've been doing in the world of acting in movies, did pro wrestling get you prepared for the world of acting?
Yeah, I think Bully will even tell you this. There's nothing better to get you ready for that than pro wrestling. Most of our things we do, the pre-tapes, promos, they're live. Most of the time they're live anyway. And it's either sink or swim, and if you forget, you're gonna sink, and you're gonna, when you do movies, it's actually easier doing movies because you get a second shot, a third shot, a fourth shot. You keep messing up, just do it over and over again until you get it right. But not in pro wrestling. You go out there, and this is your time. You better nail it. And I'm really surprised how much we have been able to not nail them 100%, but like consistently. A lot of pro wrestlers, especially the really good ones, it's amazing how consistent they are. Bully's one of the best promo guys in the business, and watching him, I don't think I've ever seen him mess up. So it's really it doesn't get you ready for movies, yes, but I think it's even more difficult.
I appreciate that, Kurt. That's a hell of a compliment coming from you, and right back at you. And if not one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, right up there in the top three. The conversation of today, Kurt, is the news that broke about Vince McMahon putting Paul Heyman in charge of Raw and Eric Bischoff in charge of SmackDown. Want to get your thoughts on just about everything that has gone down today?
Man, I don't know what's going on. I know that the ratings have been pretty stagnant. I've actually I haven't been to work in 3 weeks because I was in Bulgaria adopting a little boy, and
Oh, wow.
I've been over there so busy doing that. When I heard what they want to do today, I was like, oh, geez. It just sounds like they want to start. I guess they want to give something a try. I don't blame them. I explained this in my Q&A last week. The WWE right now, and the writing. A lot of people say the writing seems a little bad or stagnant. You have to remember, this is a publicly traded company that makes more money now than they ever did before, even more in the Attitude Era. And there's reasons for it. Don't get me wrong. The Attitude Era, I believe, was the best era of all time. But they're making more money now because of TV deals and these one shows in Saudi Arabia and Australia and the WWE Network and merchandise and endorsements. And the money just keeps coming in. And they have shareholders that are, they want to make sure this is a family program and that it's geared toward kids. And, the Attitude Era was geared toward young adults, and there was a reason for that. So the writing gets to be a little more difficult when you're trying to write PG all the time. Some people say that, it doesn't seem like it's, as entertaining because there's not a lot of funny skits. But, we, especially the pro wrestling fans, the real fans, they want to see skits that are, a bit edgy or R-rated or, it's funnier to us than it is, watching PG. So I understand, people being frustrated, but it's also not easy being a writer writing PG all the time. So, you gotta be careful what you do, what you say. They iron it out, and they, once they get everything nailed down for TV, they go over it again and make sure that things they won't get in trouble for. And so I think that it's put the company in a position where they want to produce and they want to give the fans what they want, but they got to keep it pretty much PG rated. They want a 5-year-old to watch and understand the whole show. And that's a lot different than the way it was 20 years ago.
They want to please everybody, and it's difficult to please everybody.
No, you're absolutely right.
Kurt, what is your current role with the company? Are you doing anything behind the scenes? Are they still using you when they need you as an on-air character, or is it just you just kind of figure out what week to week what you're doing?
Well, I'm producing. I'm behind the scenes, and I just started last month, and then all of a sudden I got the pneumonia. Then I went to Bulgaria, so I've been to work, and I've been to work 1 week out of the past 6 weeks. So I'm heading to work this week, but I'm slowly settling into a producer role, and or agent, whatever you want to call it. But it's kind of cool. I never thought I'd like it. I always thought I'd just step away from the business and retire, but I actually like helping guys out, and it's also given me a better understanding of the business. There's a lot more to it than what we do, going out there and doing our thing in the ring. So you really have to be creative and really come up with some. And Bully, I've talked to him about this a million times. I think Bully would be the best producer in the company, but obviously he doesn't want to be a producer right now. He wants to wrestle. But I'm learning week to week, and it's a lot of fun. I never thought I'd enjoy it, but I do.
But Kurt, I can see you succeeding as a producer because you have such a phenomenal mind for in-ring matches. Like, you came up with your transition from an Olympic wrestler to a WrestleMania main eventer is insane, because you grasped what our industry is all about. You could entertain, but the matches that you put on were so phenomenal because you have a grasp of what it takes to register and sell and tell a story and false finishes. So I could see you definitely being able to help out a lot of these younger wrestlers today to put on matches as good as you was able to put on in the ring.
Thank you, Bully. I appreciate that. I always took pride in structuring my matches and laying them out there and having good matches. And I can still do it now. It just won't be me in the ring, but it is pretty cool. I'm not going to lie to you. I really enjoyed working. I've actually worked with Roman Reigns already, and worked with Seth Rollins. Dolph Ziggler, The Miz. So it's pretty cool. We respect each other, and we kind of, help each other put stuff together. But I kind of I want the talent to be in charge. Let them find their way through the match. If they need help, I'm there to help them. So I don't want to overtake anyone's match and say, no, you're doing this. I'm saying, here, put it together. If you need some ideas, come to me. I'll be listening, and we'll work together to make it the best match possible. So I like that. That whole. I'd rather that way, because that's how the producers were with me. They allowed me to do what I wanted to do and use my own creativity, and then they would add in some of the stuff, near the end of the day before the show started.
And you mentioned the producers that worked with you. What producer had the most profound influence on your matches, and who did you learn from the most when you were working in the WWE full-time back in the Attitude Era?
I would say the two that really helped me a lot were Pat Patterson and John Laurinaitis. They really they took my match, from some of the matches I had from being 4-star to 5. I mean, they really had some great ideas, and I learned a lot from them, and I was able to use that, watching them do what they do and how they, were able to intertwine it into my match and make it, look even better. It was fun to watch, and I learned a lot from that, and I was able to continue to do things like that myself.
Kurt, somebody who's been a hot topic here on Busted Open's been Baron Corbin. I think he's been doing a fantastic job as a heel. A lot of fans just don't like him. They talk about go away heat, makes them want to turn off the TV. You had your final match at WrestleMania with Baron Corbin. What are your thoughts on Baron? And what do you think about the fans' reaction to Baron Corbin?
Okay, well, you know what? I'm going to tell you guys, the way it is and what truly happened. Baron and I worked in the program after Jason Jordan went out. Vince McMahon, I think he basically, and this is my opinion, I think he just said, you know what? If Jason's not going to be around, we're going to use this guy, Baron Corbin. So I think that in a lot of ways, Baron ended up getting Jason's position. And rightfully so. I love Baron's progress. I love his look. he's actually really good, and he takes care of you in the ring. He's not, he's not stiff or he is a great worker, and he's continuing to learn. But the whole concept of Angle versus Baron Corbin at WrestleMania 35, it occurred because that's where we were going in the first place. And what occurred was Vince didn't know that I wanted to retire at this WrestleMania. So when I sprung it on him about 5 weeks before WrestleMania, I gave him a list of guys that I wanted to wrestle and the person that I wanted to wrestle at WrestleMania. So we started having those farewell matches before Mania. But what Vince told me is, I know who you want for WrestleMania, which was John Cena. He said, because I was expecting you to go to WrestleMania 36, where I could have given you a different opponent, one of the guys you wanted. But we have been working this program for a year, and we're not going to just drop it. So if you want to we want to retire this year, your last match will be against Baron. And I was cool with it. I understood and I respected Vince's decision. Was Baron the right person? Probably not, but look at him now. I think that Baron Corbin right now is the best heel in the business. People genuinely hate his guts. I have not seen hate like this. I mean, there's not one person in the arena likes him. So I know that's real. I really believe they're real heat. Anybody, if a person can get everybody to genuinely hate their guts 24/7, you're doing your job. I mean, that's Baron's. He's the top heel in the business right now, people may disagree, but he's going to get the title eventually. He's going to have a heel run, and I think he'll do extremely well.
I don't know any more of a glaring endorsement than you could have possibly just given him. We speak on the show about Baron quite highly, and now you're giving him your stamp of approval too. A lot of the feedback that we hear on social media, Kurt, about Baron is he's quote unquote boring, or they hate him because this is the way the fans revolt against WWE creative. Do you consider Baron Corbin boring?
No, I don't. I actually think he's rather entertaining. I think that I'm not going to lie to you. We taught him a lot about showing more emotion and doing a lot more on his promos, and he's caught on. I mean, I don't see anything else that he can do that's going to make him a better heel. He likes being a heel, and I did too. But he really likes it, and I don't. Somewhere along the line he'll end up a babyface, but I don't see that for a long time. And I got to respect the fact that he can make people genuinely hate him as much as they do. That's that for me. I know how it felt. I came in as Olympic gold medalist, and I got crapped on. I mean, it was really like people were like, "I hate this guy. He makes me sick." And I got a little bit hurt about it. I was like, maybe I'm doing something wrong, and that's when Vince McMahon said, "No, you're doing everything right. Just keep doing what you're doing." So I know how Baron feels, and I think that he's doing an excellent job.
Here with Kurt Angle, of course, the movie is Chasing Molly. It's now out on Blu-ray and DVD and for digital download on iTunes. And Bully just said before about how you were able to make that transition from Olympic gold medalist to pro wrestler, and it was seamless. Somebody else you could probably describe the same way would be Ronda Rousey. Obviously, you shared a ring with Ronda Rousey, and who knows if she's ever going to be back in the WWE, but how would you grade her performance, and what are your thoughts on Ronda Rousey?
Well, Ronda, she blew my mind. She caught on very quickly, and I understand I understand that they rushed her very quickly, but she was able to handle it. we did go over the match a lot before WrestleMania. Just like, any WrestleMania, the talent gets together and they make sure they get, their T's crossed and their I's dotted, and they work all week to get ready for WrestleMania. But with Ronda, since she was so inexperienced, we had to do it for a few weeks. And the thing is, when she wrestled at Mania, her first WrestleMania match, she tore it down. I mean, she couldn't have done any better. And I was quite impressed by it. Although she didn't really know how to work yet, and that's what's even more amazing, because she sells well. She initiates the moves really well. She opens up to the crowd. She does everything that a pro wrestler is supposed to do, and here she's only been doing it for a few months. But with that, she has not learned how to improvise in that ring. So that's something I think she's been learning the past half a year. She did take, time off after WrestleMania, this one. But she kept getting better and better and better. And don't get me wrong, she was still going over the matches. Probably going to NXT for a couple of days before she went to the pay-per-view. But the fact is, she stood her ground, and she did amazingly well, to the point that I think she caught on quicker than I did. It was pretty cool to see the progression from her. But she still has a lot to learn. She's this good right now, and she still has a lot to learn. So I think we all, as wrestlers, have a lot to learn. But Ronda right now, I think that when she comes back, she's going to learn how to truly work and be a solid in-ring performer. Her moves are incredible, and she's got everything down pat. I mean, the girl even is great at cutting promos. She improved dramatically over this past year. So I'm really proud of her. I think that Ronda Rousey, if she continues on, I believe that she could be one of the greatest of all time female wrestlers. There's nothing holding her back. It's just that she wants it. She might have a baby and say, you know what, I quit. I'm done. I'm going to raise a family. But I think that Ronda loved it so much, she's going to be back.
Kurt, we come from the era of people like Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, yourself, the John Cenas, the Triple H's, the Undertakers. When you look at the WWE in the top tier today, do you think the Seth Rollinses and the Roman Reigns and the Charlotte Flairs and the Becky Lynches will ever have the opportunity to achieve that level of superstardom?
Man, that's tough. I mean, I love every person you just talked about. I think that they couldn't do any better than they're doing. I think that it's difficult to get to the level of superstardom that Stone Cold and The Rock, or Undertaker has gotten. Considering, back in their prime, the ratings on TV were pretty extraordinary. I think there was a couple of times where we did over 10 million viewers on Raw. So it's much more difficult, to get to a level of superstardom when you're pulling 2.5 million viewers a week, as opposed to 8 to 10 million viewers a week. But from an international standpoint, WWE is bigger now than it's ever been. So they have reached out to more countries, more TV deals, which means you have more eyeballs on the product. So are they? It's hard for me to compare Stone Cold Steve Austin to Roman Reigns, but I think that Roman Reigns is, he's the guy. Him and Seth Rollins are both the guys. And I don't want to disrespect them by saying they're not as big of superstars as Stone Cold The Rock, but I will say that it's very, very difficult to get to that level. And I'm not sure anybody will ever get to that level. Somewhere along the line, Roman is, he's really come around, and I think that the fans are starting to appreciate him a lot more. And whether it has to do with his remission or whether it has to do with his quality of work, which I think is extremely, extremely good. I mean, he's as good as they get right now. I love watching Roman work. Love watching Seth work. So I think these guys are going to carry the company, and I think that eventually they might get to that level. I just don't know if anybody can because of the situation we were in back then. It was a lot bigger, and we had a lot more eyeballs on us in our own country.
WWE Hall of Famer Kurt Angle, again, in the movie Chasing Molly, which is a great comedy available now on Blu-ray and DVD and for digital download on iTunes. He's Mr. Black. It's a great role. And Kurt, thank you so much for the time today. We really, really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Bully, thanks, brother.
Love you, man. Take care, Kurt.
Love you, too. All right, guys, thanks.
All right, Kurt Angle. Wow, a lot to talk about in that interview. We only have a few minutes before we say goodbye, but, man, you talk about a mouthful. A lot of information from Kurt Angle there.
One of the things that just stuck out at the end of the interview was he said how well the WWE is doing on a worldwide basis. So, yeah, ratings might not be what they were back in the day, but the scope of the territory in which the WWE works is the entire planet. It's not just the United States. So when they're looking at their bottom lines, money talks and everything else walks. So yeah, ratings might be down and you got fans taking pictures of empty seats. But what does that mean at the end of the day if the WWE is making money? And the WWE is doing well all over the world. So it just doesn't matter. It doesn't just matter what goes on here, Dave.
And how about this? The fact that, the original plan for Kurt Angle's final match wasn't really supposed to be Baron Corbin. Kurt Angle gave a list of who he thought would be a good fit for his final match. But, like Vince said, they had a story going with Baron Corbin. They had to finish the story. If you wanted to wait around to next year's WrestleMania, it's a different story. A lot to break down and to think about when it comes to Kurt Angle, Bully.
Well, maybe tomorrow you and Mark Henry can break down and talk about Kurt a little more.
And also the news with Eric Bischoff and Paul Heyman. Bully, awesome show today, my friend.
Good stuff.
And as Bully just said, Mark Henry's return tomorrow when we're back right here on Busted Open.